Hello everyone and welcome back to another deck idea brought to you by Double Sleeved. Today we're jumping into the purple Iceburg leader that's coming out in OP03 to give you a bit of an overview of the deck, where it stands within the meta and what a deck list might look for this leader. But jumping into the leader, it is a pretty standard 5 life 5k, but nothing standard about the additional effect of this leader cannot attack. So not something that we've seen at the moment in any of the previous sets, but we're going to have to find some other use for this leader. And it's got a really powerful activate main to kind of make up for that ability, which is a Don -1. You may rest this leader and play up to 1 character with a Galley-La Company type with a cost of 5 or less from your hand. So really powerful to be able to get those 5 costs out just for minusing 1 Don. Very efficient, especially with some of the effects that these cards have. But let's jump into the characters for this card. Starting off, we've got Kokoro. It's a 1 cost 2k, 1k counter. On play, we get to look at the top 5 cards of the deck, reveal up to 1 Water 7 type card other than Kokoro, add it to hand, and then place the rest at the bottom of the deck in any order. Then we've got Domino, a 2 cost 2k blocker with 1k counter. It's always great to have blockers that have 1k counter as well. Just gives them more utility for any kind of matchup. Then we've got Khalifa, one of the cards that we can play off our leader effect, since it does have the Galley-La Company type tag. This one is a 4 cost, it's 4000 power and a 2k counter. When attacking Don -1, you get to draw 2 cards and discard 1 card from your hand. So it is a card that we can play. You might not necessarily find yourself playing this one all that often since it is a 2k counter, but the option is there. Then we've got X-Drake. This one is a 5 cost, 5000 power, 2k counter. A really powerful on play effect of a Don -1. Your opponent trashes 1 card from their hand. With just a lot of these decks not having really powerful draw engines, it can be quite taxing to get a card onto the field and get a card out of your opponent's hand. This is one of the only 5 cost cards that we're not able to play with our leader effect. There's just one other, which is the Queen. So you're going to be paying 5 for this card if you do want to get it out into the field, but it's just good to have the extra 2k counter. Moving into some of the 5 costs that we are able to play off this leader effect that are going to give us the tempo and the board pressure to make up for the fact that our leader can't attack. We've got Pepli Lulu, a 5 cost 5k, 1k counter. Don ×1 when attacking. If your leader has the Galley-La Company type, add up to 1 Don card from your Don deck and rest it, making up for the -1 that we had to use to get this card out onto the field. Then we've got Kaku, another 5 cost. This one is 6000 power. So again, just getting a lot of value off our leader for that -1 effect. 1k counter again. When attacking Don -1, this character gains Banish for the turn. So if you're able to establish this card pretty early in the game, you can deal a lot of pressure onto your opponent and prevent them getting those cards to hand. Tilestone, a 5 cost 6k again, 1k counter, and this is an on KO effect. If your leader has the Galley-La Company type, add up to 1 Don card from your Don deck and rest it. Again, just giving you the ability to replace the Don that you used to get this card out onto the field, and just kind of deters your opponent from attacking into it. They obviously don't want to give you the extra Don, and it's a 6k as well, so it's going to be difficult to attack into early on. Then we've got Paulie, a 5 cost 6k. This is one of the SRs coming out in OP03. We've got an on-play effect for 2 Don. You get to add up to 1 Don card from your Don deck and set it as active. And then if you have 8 or more Don in play, you get to KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. So early on, this gives us the ability to ramp a card, and then later on into the game, we have the added ability of being able to KO a 4 or less. And again, playable off our leader, so going to be very easy to pay that 2 Don for the effect. Then we've got Rob Bellucci, a 5 cost 6k, 1k counter again. This is a when attacking effect, Don -1. Rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less. So we can rest blockers before we go in to try and clear the board or deal pressure onto our opponent. We've seen how strong effects like this have been within green, just being able to rest blockers. One of our own blockers for the deck is the Queen, 5 cost 6k, 1k counter again. On play, Don -1, we get to draw 2 cards and then trash 1 card from hand. Just a really powerful blocker, having a good stat line and a good effect. Then we've got the Monkey D. Luffy. It's a 6 cost 7k. We've got an on play, Don -1. You may trash 1 character card with a cost of 5 or less from your hand, which we have plenty of. And then this character gains rush for the turn. There's going to be a lot of times where our opponent thinks that they're safe because purple doesn't have a large amount of rush options. So this card can sneak a really powerful attack in. We've obviously got a lot of 5 cost cards to trash, and just getting that extra 7k attack in can be just what we need to gain advantage. Then we've got King, another 6 cost 7k. This one is an on play, Don -1, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less, so some more board removal. And then Blast Breath, a 1 cost event counter, Don -1 for the battle. Your leader or one of your characters gains plus 4,000 power, so really powerful for only 1 Don. And we've got a lot of Don -1 effects within this deck, which might seem a bit kind of setting you back, since you're only going to be gaining 2 Don every turn. But thankfully we do have a stage card for this deck, which is Galila Company. It's a 3 cost, similar to the other purple stage card, and it's just an activate main. You may rest this stage, and if your leader is Iceburg, add up to 1 Don card from your Don deck and rest it. So you're constantly going to be ramping each turn to make up for these Don -1s, and with a lot of really powerful effects that we've got on these characters and our leader, we'll be able to stay with our opponent with the amount of Don that we have, and just being able to get a bit more powerful effects early on in the game to gain that advantage. But that is the deck. Let me know if there's other purple cards that you think might have a really good place within this deck, whether you're going to opt to run some 7, 8, 9 or 10 cost cards within the deck. I've obviously capped it at that 6 cost, just to be able to kind of have some Don available for some of our other effects as well. But let me know what you think, if you think that, you know, this deck needs some more blockers or some kind of boss monsters to close out the game, or if you're going to run with a similar build with just utilizing your leader effect to get the advantage with all these 5 cost cards. But if you do enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section, and hopefully you subscribe, and we'll see you at the next deck idea.